All right. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. Welcome back to another video. And I think we got a pretty good show for y'all here today. I stumbled upon an interesting video. I believe it was on X, and the name of the creator is called the. That's right, the two times, right? The 1776. Go over to his page. It seems like he posts some great content, some funny memes, and a lot of truth. And some of the things that I heard in this video actually kind of caught me by surprise, right? Some of these facts I just didn't know. Now, I didn't make my way through the whole entire video. Keep it honest with you. I watched it about halfway, and just as I was watching it, I was like, well, I gotta share this with somebody, right? I gotta show this to my people, you know? So today we're going to be reacting to this video. Is kind of like basically explaining the foundation and the creation of the Republican Party from its founding days, right? And I'm telling you, there's some interesting things in here that you may not have known and that may catch you by surprise, right? So I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I'm hoping y'all having a great day, a great morning. I know some of y'all are probably at work, and don't worry, I'm going to be getting together some better and more consistent live streaming times. I'm working on that. I know my schedule is crazy. I apologize. Y'all just bear with me. But anyway, with all that being said, I'm your host, ClickThatReacts. And let's go ahead and get into the video. I got to get myself ready too, right? Let me get the headphones on so I can hear and I can follow along with y'all. All right, let's go.
The Republican Party was not an accident of history. It was founded in 1854 for one primary but moral reason, and that reason was to stop the expansion of slavery. This was an institution created, defended, and even protected by the Democratic Party, which at the time was the party of the slave-owning class. The Republican Party was the party of Abraham Lincoln, the party that fought and won the Civil War, and the party that pushed for the Emancipation Proclamation. After Lincoln's death, it was the radical Republicans in Congress who truly secured our rights. They passed the 13th Amendment, abolishing slavery. They passed the 14th Amendment, granting us citizenship, and they passed the 15th Amendment, securing the right to vote for Black men.
Now, I just want to make sure that everybody went ahead and heard that very important and critical detail, right? Now, see, I'm not sure how school went for y'all, right? But in my history class, right, we was always told that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party did this kind of foundational switch, right? So we was always told, or at least made to believe, that the free North was basically the blue, the Democrats, right? That's where everybody ran to. That's where the slaves were exported to through Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad and all that stuff. They was running up to the North because it was the free North. See, nowadays we kind of know that, you know, a lot of Republicans live in the South, you know, Texas and the southern states. So that makes us think that maybe it was the Republicans that was the party of the slaves. But it seems like that's really the only switch that actually happened. There was never really a switch in beliefs. There was just a switch in the poles, right? Rather from the South to the North. So while we all remember that the South was known for its slavery and the KKK and its amount of racist people or racist tactics, well, we also got to remember that the South was Democrats. The free North was Republicans. That's really the only switch that actually happened. There was no switch in ideology. There was no switch in which one was the party of slavery. The Democrats have always been the party of slavery. But that's something they don't tell you. I'm going to try not to interject too much because I guarantee you it gets a little bit more intriguing. Let's continue.
The Democrats in the South refused to accept this new reality. They created the black codes to mimic slavery. And when those were struck down, they unleashed the Karens, what I like to call them. to terrorize black citizens and strip them of their new rights through violence. And what was the Republican response? They didn't give up. They passed more civil rights legislation known as the Enforcement Acts, the most famous of which was the Karen Act of 1871. This act, signed by Republican President Ulysses S. Grant, gave the federal government the power to use the U.S. Army to crush the Karens and enforce the 14th Amendment. Republicans had to...
Isn't that interesting? It was giving him control of the military to go ahead and control the Karens, as he calls them, right? The triple Ks. It kind of reminds me of something that a current president in office is trying to do, right? Utilize the military for the greater good of America, which back then the Republicans were trying to utilize America's army for the greater good of a certain ethnic group of people. But yet for some reason now today, fast forward today, and it's astonishing that somehow Republicans are now labeled the party of racism, racist people. You know, I can only imagine that the founding fathers of the Republican Party must be rolling over in their graves to hear that everything that they fought for, everything that they tried to do for people, and it somehow got flipped on them. And it's crazy to believe that these people are now dead and gone. So it's not like they can just pop out of the grave and defend themselves and come out and tell the truth. So we have a certain political party that is twisting the truth. They've pulled a complete 180. And there's certain people out there that get mad at Trump when he says history and these so-called museums need to be abolished. These so-called Black history museums that is lying to everybody about the truth about Black history and how they're twisting it. All right, let's continue. There's more.
Keep passing new laws specifically to combat the violence and illegal resistance of the Democratic Party.
New laws.
The result of this Republican protection was a political explosion. For the first time, Black men were elected to the highest offices in the country. The first Black U.S. senators in Hiram Revels and Blanche K. Bruce, also the first Black congressmen like Joseph Rainey. They weren't just politicians. They were proud Black Republicans, now building a new South. When Reconstruction was betrayed, the Democrats reestablished control of the South through intimidation and terror, the strategy for Black progress shifted from political power to economic power. This new era was championed by the great Republican leader, Booker T. Washington. He preached a powerful yet conservative philosophy of self-reliance, capitalism, and education, urging the community to build its own economic kingdom from the ground up. This philosophy created real-world results. It was the era of the Black Wall Streets in places like Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Durham, North Carolina.
And see, this is why I have a certain criticism for a certain person. Now, I'm not even going to mention his name right now because, you know, maybe that's a whole nother debate. I want us to keep our emotions intact right now and just concentrate on the details of the video. But as you can see, Booker T. Washington was focused on economic growth solely within his community and his people, not forced integration. Not saying that integration is necessarily a bad thing, but I'm just saying it was forced. It didn't need to be forced. It needed to happen willingly. And it's just like with anybody, because if I'm going to let somebody into my house or my home, you need to prove to me that you are worthy to step through that front door. And once I see that you now have something to offer and something to bring to the table, if anything, at that point, I'm probably going to be begging you to come here like, hey, man, you could really help me out. You could take on half the bills, half the responsibilities, half the chores. You got skills. You have this, you have that. Man, it would be an honor to have you come move in with me, rather than having somebody bang on my door and tell me, no, you don't have a choice. This person's coming to live with you, whether you like it or not. Might create a little tension in the house if it happens that way. But let's continue.
These were thriving, self-sufficient hubs of black capitalism built on the Republican principles of free enterprise and community. They had their own banks, insurance companies, businesses, schools. Amongst the community were your doctors, lawyers, and very successful middle and upper class. This was the era of titans like Madam C.J. Walker, a daughter of former slaves who, through sheer grit and business genius, became America's first self-made female millionaire. This was the fruit of philosophy that said we would build our own. But as these economic successes were being built, the political reality on the ground was brutal. Under the Democrats' solid South, the penalties for being a black Republican were severe. The fist of violence was present. Any known black Republican activist risked being a target by the Karens.
Isn't that
Pen
something?
of the law was used to create Jim Crow, poll taxes.
So just think about that. Because I'm not even all that big yet here, but I feel that too. And it's not just coming from, outside. It actually comes from within. People that I know or people that look like me have something to say just simply because a person is a black Republican, when in all actuality, it should kind of be the other way around. If anything, maybe us black Republicans should be ridiculing y'all for voting for the party of slavery at an 80% clip. But we don't. We just try to show you the truth and expose the facts to you and see why is it that you actually want to be a Democrat? For what reason? Explain to us what they've done for you guys that have been so great. What have they done for anybody? Not just black people. What has the Democrats actually done for anybody that has been also great? But yet, you have somebody like Savannah Craven who's allowed to get punched or assaulted. And when she files her claim in her case with all her proof documents captured in 4K footage, nothing is done. Is this because of her political party, her political standing? It's odd. You have a lot of content creators, a lot of people on YouTube and other platforms who were canceled or silenced just because of their political standings and their outlooks were voicing their opinions. But then you have other people who are allowed to get online and say the most outrageous things as long as it's on the other side. And it's fine. No censorship. They're not getting banned. They're allowed to show and display whatever it is that they want on the internet, but yet people from the Republican side will get banned, censored over a single word. But you have other people who are allowed to post acts of violence, nudity, sexual content, all kinds of misconduct, and they can say and do whatever they want. But not even a single copyright strike? Nothing? A little flag, violation, anything? All right.
And literacy tests to steal the vote. And the chain of economic coercion was the most common threat of all. A black sharecropper who was discovered to be voting Republican could be fired from his job, evicted from his home, and blacklisted, ensuring his family will starve. This coercion could be extremely and deeply humiliating.
Hold on. I got to run that back. All right. I want y'all to really hear that and think about that, right? This is a little drawn depiction here. So think about what they said. A sharecropper, right? We're not even talking about no big time entrepreneur or no big time influencer with thousands of followers. We're just talking about a normal working class citizen. But if he was found to be a Republican, he could be harmed and fired from his job. Very interesting.
And the chain of economic coercion was the most common threat of all. A black sharecropper who was discovered to be voting Republican could be fired from his job, evicted from his home, and blacklisted, ensuring his family will starve. This coercion could be extremely and deeply humiliating. After the Opelousas Massacre in Louisiana, the victorious Democratic mobs forced every surviving black resident to obtain protection papers, or even to wear a red band around their arm signed by a white Democrat. They had to do this just to prove their allegiance and avoid being beaten or their lives being taken away. You didn't just have to be silent. You had to publicly pledge loyalty to the party that oppressed you, simply to survive. The 20th century saw a great political change, as the Democratic Party, for its own political survival, began to court the black vote. But even as the party's faces changed, the core principles of the black Republican tradition endured. The modern conservative movement and the black Republicans within it are the direct intellectual heirs of this powerful legacy.
There go that man right there, boy, Byron Donalds, boy. Hey, that's that dude. Hey, and I'm gonna let it keep going, man. Hey, get behind him, man. I'm telling you, I really think he should have been the VP pick, right? In my opinion, I think Trump made a very bad decision by going with JD Vance. It should have been that man right there. That's who it should have been. Call it what you want for whatever reasons. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's a debate for another video. Could have had something to do with donors. Could have had something to do with, you know, political reasons, maybe even race reasons. But all I know is that that man right there should have been the pick. That should be our vice president right now.
Modern conservative movement and the black Republicans within it are the direct intellectual heirs of this powerful legacy. It is a legacy that believes in individual responsibility over group identity. It believes in free markets as the greatest tool for uplift ever created. It believes in a strong constitution that guarantees our God-given rights. And it believes, above all, that we are not victims, but we are the masters of our own destiny.
Facts.
So, when people question your interests in the Republican Party, just know your history. You are not walking a new path. You are rejoining a path forged by giants, a path blazed by Frederick Douglass, Ida B. Wells, and by Booker T. Washington.
Go ahead and drop them names.
Their principles are your inheritance.
And there was one name he didn't name, though. He wasn't in that list, huh? Why he wasn't in that list? Every street in the hood named after him, right? But he wasn't in that list. Go ahead with y'all sellout. All right,
In
anyway.
the Republican Party, just know your history. You are not walking a new path. You are rejoining a path forged by giants, a path blazed by Frederick Douglass, Ida B. Wells, and by Booker T. Washington. Their principles are your inheritance.
Facts. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure who is the original creator of that video. Maybe that's his information right there. Was that TikTok Bryant.iv. But all I know is I got it from a guy on X named the 1776. But anyway, back to what I was saying, right? There could be a reason. There could be a direct correlation of why Charlie Kirk said what he said about the man. Right? Not saying whether he was right or wrong. Take it how you want it. I know how I think about it. Right? And you see that man's name wasn't on that list. Right? So, anyway, he ain't one of the greats to me. That's all I can say. I'm not trying to take away from what he did or anything like that. Hey, you got it. I see you in the chat. We know what you're talking about. Sellout King, right? I'm gonna stop that, y'all. You might have some people mad at me, man, because I know he don't like everybody wall. Imagine having a sellout on your wall, bro. He gonna be right up there with like Michael Jordan overcharging y'all for shoes. Oh my God. MLK and MJ. put Tupac up somewhere too, right? Oh my God. The Black Wall of Excellence, right? MLK, MJ, maybe throw Nipsey Hussle or Tupac up there somewhere. Anyway, man, I just wanted to go ahead and expose that little bit of truth to y'all, man. I found that video to be extremely interesting, you know? And I just like to expose the facts, man. And I feel like maybe so many people out there actually need to be able to see and hear the truth. And it is what it is. I mean, I'm not saying that you should just jump over to the Republican vote and close your eyes and just blindly follow a Republican. There's nobody on this earth that you should blindly follow. There's only one person, and it's not even a person. There's only one thing that you should blindly follow, and that should be your faith. The one and only. You should question everything. I don't care if a Republican said. I don't care if Mr. Donald Trump said. I'm still going to question it. I'm going to have my doubts. I'm going to look into it as much as I possibly can. And then I'm going to find out whether or not this is something I actually want to follow or get behind or support. But all I know is that there's like an 80% clip of black people that will go ahead and get behind anybody that joins the Democratic group, and you don't question them. You don't know where this person came from, don't know nothing about them. You can't tell me none of their policies, how their policies are going to help you or improve your life. It's just, we're Democrats and that's the way it is. And not even understanding that one of the key ways that somebody controls you is simply by doing that. When you don't question their authority at all. You just blindly follow. Oh, yes, a mass person. That's it. They say jump, you say how high. They say tap dance, you start shucking and driving. But anyway, I really do hope y'all enjoyed today's video, and I thank y'all so much for coming in out and just having a little fun with me here today. I will leave links to the creator, or at least the person that posted that video, down in the description area after the live stream goes ahead and get posted. So this way y'all can go ahead and check it out for yourself. Hopefully y'all repost it and share it as much as possible, because that right there needs to be shared with the world. Start questioning things, man. Lead with faith. Right? Ain't that what they say? Walk by faith and not by sight. So that's what we need to do as people. And anyway, I love each and every single one of y'all. Go out there and make the world good again. Right? Let's make the world a better place. I'm your host, ClickThatReacts, and I'll be seeing y'all in the next one.
Yeah. Okay. Before click that reacts, you might just wanna sit back,